Hello guys, this is Super Dan with the Lego Technic bucket wheel excavator in the background. After spending a week to build this amazing set and watching other videos on YouTube where they show their bucket wheel not working correctly, I thought I would show a quick video, like spend 5 minutes and show people how to build correctly a big Lego Technic set like this one. You don't basically build a Lego Technic the same way you build a regular Lego set for many reasons. One being that you have a lot of gears in a Technic system, which you don't typically find in a regular Lego set. And you need to pay more attention with the gears. So the first thing I do when I build a big set like that, I separate my parts. This is more important when you have a set that does not have numbered bags, which is the case sometimes. So I use a larger plastic container like this for the big parts or big pieces. And I use one with compartments for smaller pieces like the blue pins and the black pins, for example. I put my gears also, my axles separate. So when I build, it is much easier. Also in this case here, as you can see, some bags had a lot of yellow parts and gray parts mixed together. So I would then use two containers like that, and I would just separate my yellow parts in one and the gray parts in another one. Another thing also is about stickers. I see a lot of comments on YouTube and also on websites from people saying that they don't apply stickers because they don't last or they're difficult to apply, especially the small ones. So the trick here is to use very small tweezers like these ones here. It makes easier to pick up labels and also easier to install labels. And since you're not using your fingers, especially if you have like sweaty fingers or you have like body fat, the stickers may not last as long. But if you use tweezers, they will last basically almost forever. Another thing also is about the build itself. So I picked up a couple of pages here. Like for example, this page here. When you have a lot going on in a page or two pages, it's a good habit before you start the next page is to stop at the end of the second page, move your model in the same orientation, and just check to make sure that you have everything in place before you turn the page and do the next step. That's something that will help you a lot. Speaking of the pins also, when you add like this part here on top of this one, by doing this, if you manipulate the whole thing a lot, you may find that some of the pins or the parts will move out very, very slightly. That will affect the operation at the end when you have so many parts connected together. So it's a good habit also once in a while to push everything back in. For example, when I build the conveyor system here, at the end, not at the end, but at the end of a step, I made sure that all this was firmly in place. The same thing here. Push these here, make sure they were in place. Push these here, holding the back of course, but push these here to make sure that by adding a section, I would not weaken the previous section. That's very important. Also, Lego will put a couple of warnings in the big set, like for example over here. I hope I can focus correctly here. So this of course tells you this is not correct, this is correct. And the not correct is the wheel touching the beam. If you have a little bit of clearance, it will work a lot better, trust me. So in this case, we're talking about 0.5 millimeter for my friends in Europe, or for North America, about 1/64 of an inch. Don't put too much spacing because then you'll have the opposite effect. You'll start to have some wobbling. The wheel will move sideways a bit too much, and that will also affect operation. So very, very important. There's also another example here on this page here. Look at this here. This is not correct. These are black gears. They're touching the beams over here. This is correct here. You can see here, I think you can see it in the video. There's a very slight space between the gear and the beam, and this is about half a millimeter. So if you do this, a big set like the bucket wheel will operate correctly like mine does basically, and you will not have any problems. So if you follow these simple rules, and again, checking the pins on a regular basis to make sure that they're all pushed in, doing a good job with the gears, you'll have a nice working Lego set. So I hope I was able to help a little bit here. So have a nice day. Goodbye.